Someone asks, what is this beginner's mind that I speak of in our satsangs, our meetings in our community? I often speak about this beginner's mind. And someone sent me a message after, just kind of asking me, what do I mean by this beginner's mind? So let me take the time to explain what this beginner's mind is. It's the mind of a beginner, meaning that you're approaching everything like a beginner. It's almost like this inner attitude where you drop everything that you may have known, that you might have picked up, and you just drop it, which then allows you to approach people, situations, anything that you're about to learn, whether it be a seminar or a meeting or a video. It's like you're dropping everything that you may have already picked up. So you're not coming into this experience with any judgment, with any pretenses, with any former information that you're holding on to that prevents you from receiving what is here now. So it's an attitude. It's an openness that you have to be open. You also have to be willing to learn something new. Hence the beginner. If you come into a situation, oh, I know how to do this, because you may have seen it done somewhere else. You may have heard about it. You may have learned something about it. Or you just have your own idea, your own projection of what it's about, meaning your own imagination. Then that's not a beginner's mind. It's coming in with a closed mind. So, what does this look like? Well, let me give you an example, actually, in my life right now. I'll just use my son, who's 5, and teaching him how to ride a bike without the training wheels. So he's going about it, trying, but there's not the beginner's mind. Ironically, because it's something new that he's approaching, riding a bike without training wheels. He's never done it before, but there's this closure to learning from someone else who can ride the bike without training wheels, who's done it before. So there's me, who can ride the bike without training wheels, who's done it before, simply just giving some pointers. But then there's my son, who's, okay, I know. Let me just do it my way. And that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's like there's an easy way to learn and there's the hard way to learn, right? And if you are closed, thinking that you know it already, that's a level of closure. I already know. Yeah, I know. Let me just do it. You're not open enough to even listen to the instruction or the feedback or the pointers, because you're already closed. It's like you're talking to a wall. So that would be not having the beginner's mind. And this is something that as we develop, as we go through life, It's like just this kind of the hard way. You learn the hard way. It kind of breaks down that pride, the I think I know it already. Life just seems to chip away at that pride. There's no better way to develop humility than failure. So it requires failing. You try things out, and that's fine. That's learning the hard way. Learning the easy way is you're open to receive guidance and feedback, instruction. You're open to the experience. You're not coming into it with the past. You're not coming into it with your imagination. You're not coming into it with your projections. You're not coming into it with your expectations. And you're like this blank canvas. You're like this blank canvas approaching a situation as if it's the very first time. You're empty. You're not full of your own stuff. You're empty. And it's only when you're empty, which then you're actually able to receive. I can't receive if my hands are full. If my mind is full of expectations and projections and imaginations, then I can't receive anything. Someone, a teacher, a master, a guide, a mentor, someone who's been there, done that, can't possibly offer any advice. It's like they try, but it's like this is closed and it's full of stuff. It's like there's nowhere to put it. The message is landing on deaf ears. You're not able to hear it. It's only when you're empty, it's only when you're open that you're receptive, that you're able to receive. So the beginner's mind is very much this open mind, this receptive mind. And see that it's only when something is empty that it's actually useful. This cup is only useful because it's actually empty. If it was full, it's useless. You can't use it to put tea in. Your smartphone, if the memory was all full and it wasn't empty, it didn't have the capacity to store your photos and videos, to a certain extent, it's very useless to people. This room, if it wasn't empty, then it wouldn't be useful. I couldn't sit in here and shoot a video. It'd be full. It's no longer useful to me if it's full. If it's too full, it becomes useless. Same way as with your mind. If it's too full of garbage, if it's too full of past, if it's too full of your own imagination, your own projections, your own expectations, it's useless. So beginner's mind is very much open and empty and receptive and useful. You're able to approach situations as if it's the very first time, because in reality, it is. Every moment is fresh, every moment is new. If every moment doesn't feel fresh and brand new, that's a sign that you're bringing the past to each moment. You're dragging along garbage, and you're littering this present moment with your own stink. So it's about approaching every situation like a newborn baby, like a beginner. The beginner's mind is extremely humble. The beginner's mind is this mind. If it could say something, it would say, I don't know. And see that it's only when you don't know that curiosity arises, the curiosity of wanting to know. Someone who can't approach a situation from a place of not knowing doesn't have the true curiosity to know. They've created their own obstacle, boundary, border, wall, the wall of knowing. Oh, I already know what's on the other side of the wall. I don't need to go because I already know what's over there. And it's this imagined boundary. It's an imaginary boundary because it's really unknown. How could you possibly know? It's unknown. So the beginner's mind is someone that can admit that they don't know. And because they have that radical honesty that they don't know, then arises the curiosity and the ability to know. Which then allows them to go through life more gracefully because they're willing to accept help from others. I see this with a lot of seekers on this path that they're just not willing to accept help. You'll find in life that the helping hand is always reaching out to you. But pride, arrogance slaps that hand out of the way. I don't need that help. Get away from me. I'm going to look weak. I don't need any help. Pride. Oh, I already know. I don't need any help. No way. It's okay. I don't need any help. Pride. Whereas the beginner's mind, it's able to accept help. You're able to accept help. And there's a difference between accepting help and going through life experientially than just simply believing. Believing is not the beginner's mind. Believing is, again, it's an imaginary border or wall that you're creating. The belief that I already know, the belief that's made of actually, I don't know, but I lack the humility to admit that I don't know. See that all beliefs are made of, I don't know. That's why you believe. Because anything that you do know for certain does not require a belief. You know it experientially. You know it to be true. But a belief is something that you believe to be true, but are not certain. Therefore, you don't know if it's true. So the belief is made of, I don't know. The belief is made of doubt. Where you find doubt, you will always find a belief, because the belief is made of doubt. And you approach these beliefs with a beginner's mind, a mind that's open, a mind that is empty, a mind that is then able to question and look at this belief as if it's the first time. This is something that I've always believed to be true my entire life, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. But you know what? Let me just be open to questioning this. And it's by questioning the belief that you're able to realize that it's not true. You're able to see for yourself that that belief is not true, that it was an imaginary border, boundary, or wall that you have created. So we can only let go of these beliefs, and every belief is a limitation, with a beginner's mind, with true humility. I don't know. Because out of I don't know, there's the curiosity to then know. I don't know if this is true, but I'm curious. Is it true or is it not true? I'm open. Let me look at it with fresh eyes as if it's the first time. I'm not going to bring any of my past. I'm not going to project any imaginations onto this. Let me just see this for what it is. The beginner's mind is very raw. It doesn't come with a filter. It's like default settings where you haven't created your preference profile. The mind is a bunch of preferences. I like this, I don't like this. You've created these preferences that have developed over your life. And the beginner's mind simply clicks the return to default. It just wipes all those preferences. So it's a blank slate. Which then you're able to see things as they are. And like I said, you're able to learn things a lot faster with this beginner mind. Because almost all situations in life, the slowest part is unlearning everything that you've learned. The slowest part to learning anything new is unlearning all of the stuff that you've accumulated. If you're coming into a new experience with those preference profiles that have been adjusted, the slowest part is actually changing all those preferences and returning it back to the default setting. It's like a factory reset. I see this on this path, that it's the ones that have all of the knowledge, that sound very intellectually smart. It's like they make the slowest progress because they're just not willing to be empty and open. to let go of the pride, to let go of everything they know. They can't know because they're not willing to be in a state of not knowing. Yet there could be someone who has very little experience on this journey, who doesn't have all the book smarts, who hasn't listened to a million non-duality videos. And there's a level of readiness because there's the openness. There's that beginner's mind. They're empty so they can be filled. It's only when we're empty that we can be filled by grace. It's only when my hands are empty that I can actually receive true knowledge. So there's this ability to remain empty, which is the beginner's mind. That then you don't need to unlearn a bunch of things because you have gracefully just let go of it. It's like a teacher doesn't have to pry all the books out of your hand that you're holding on to because you're smart enough to just simply put them down. It's almost like you don't need the books if you're in the presence of the teacher. But holding on to those books and listening to the teacher, but you're not willing to let go of what you've read, or listening to the teacher and then you're cross-referencing your favorite books. You're coming into every situation with that teacher with a certain amount of bias, a certain level of arrogance. And some might even say a certain level of disrespect. But the beginner's mind is someone who can put down all those books and just simply sit and be open and receptive. They're not coming with the biases. They're not coming with all the baggage. And because they're open and empty, they can take the teachings, they can receive the pointers and make use of them, sort of say. Like I said, the beginner's mind is useful. It's only when something is open and empty that it's then of use. So they can make use of the guidance, the teachings, the pointers, the presence. So hopefully you can see that I've kind of pointed to just the power of a beginner's mind just in everyday life. But I've also showed you the power of a beginner's mind on the spiritual journey. And you might be asking, okay, well, how do I create more of this beginner's mind? It's about seeing what you're holding on to. It's about seeing the biases that you're creating. It's about seeing the judgments that you're creating. It's about seeing the projections that you're creating. It's about seeing the expectations that you're holding on to. It's about seeing that first. First is awareness. You have to be aware that you are already full. And then you have to let go of it. You have to empty yourself out. Which is really a non-doing. Because holding on to something is something that you do. Picking up stuff and holding on to it is something that you do. Letting go of it is really a non-doing. There's nothing that you need to do in order to let go. You just simply stop picking it up. Because you have to see that you pick it up in every moment. You're holding on to it. You're picking it up and holding on to it in every moment. So can you just simply be in this moment without doing? Can you simply just be without picking up your past? Can you just simply be with what is without picking up your past and holding on to it, bringing it into this present moment? Can you just simply be with what is without picking up everything that you know? And that's the filter that you're creating moment to moment. You're looking at everything through your preference settings. You're coloring this present moment with your own colors, the colors of your thoughts and feelings, imagination, biases, beliefs, past, future, all of that. That's what you're coloring this moment with. And like I said, the beginner's mind is one that does not pick up the colors and starts coloring. It simply allows the canvas to be blank. And see that it's only with a blank canvas that the canvas is actually useful to the creator. So, long-winded discussion on beginner's mind. But hopefully you are able to be open to what I'm sharing here. And whatever was shared is of use to you. So thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one.